It all began with Pandora's box. When the box was opened, it opened the door to damnation, and disaster soon followed.
Going to tell me where we are, or do I need to beat it out of you?
I'd like to see you try. Cyborg's dad, Silas Stone, designed the lab's quantum shield to protect it from any attack. Here. Most of the devices here could easily laser your head off.
Ah, I could have used these in my criminal days.
Get ready to defend yourself.
That's what I do best. Nice bachelor pad. A real man cave. You just never get tired of these techie toys, do you? Ah, your collections. So, this is the mother box.
Don't!
Oh, get the box.
Hello heroes and villains, welcome to Multiverse. I made a couple of videos about mobile games not too long ago, and in one of the videos, in one of the comments, someone mentioned, I hope this game doesn't get cancelled or something like that. I didn't understand what they were talking about, so I had to do a little bit of research, and then came to realize that there was this game called DC Worlds Collide, which was cancelled not long after being launched. Actually, it didn't get a full launch. I think it was only launched in South Asia. And sadly it was cancelled before it could be properly launched, especially in the US market. This is the kind of game, especially with DC superheroes, that probably would have done a lot better in the American market than the South Asian market. So it is a bit sad that it was cancelled before it could be launched on the American market. But also the saddest part is that the game does have some pretty cool cinematics. And it's just one more example that you can make some pretty cool cinematics. You could probably make some really cool movies featuring those DC characters if somebody decided to put the effort in it and decided to make those movies. The cinematics in this game are pretty awesome. I could easily see at the very least an animated series with those that kind of animation, or even some animated straight to DVD movies. Personally, I think this could go as far as to make a pretty cool feature film. Sadly, with the Crypto, the Super Pet movie being pretty much a disaster, I strongly doubt that Warner Brothers and DC would ever make a feature film with that kind of animation. But you never know. But here we have some pretty cool animation. They're pretty much using the classic designs. I have to wonder if the Crypto animated movie would have done a bit better if they had used the classic designs as opposed to the kind of funky designs they decide to use for the Justice League characters. I guess we will never know. So if anything, this game shows us that you can make a pretty cool classic animated movie using the DC characters. But sadly, at this point in time, it's getting pretty obvious that there's no one really at Warner who really wants to do that. So it's starting to be sadly a bit obvious that there's no one really at DC or Warner who has any real desire to create classic action superhero stories. And I guess you have to wonder if James Gunn will change that. Sadly, at this point, all we can do is wait and see what James Gunn actually ends up doing. As for the game itself, it seems to be one of those games where you actually gather a squad of heroes and you fight a whole bunch of evil villains. And I have to admit, I really liked the animation and also the character designs. They kept pretty much the classic version of the characters, and they kind of streamlined the characters for the animation process, which doesn't really mean that they added less detail to the characters, but the way they structure the characters as well is also a big part in the animation process. The way you do structure the character design does have a big impact on how the characters get animated later down the line. Very often character design gets over-designed, and it becomes a bit of a pain in the neck for the animators to actually do the animation of those over-designs. But here they did seem to have done a good job streamlining the designs for the animation process. Sadly, that did not seem to stop the game from being cancelled. Oh well. Now, why was the game cancelled? Was it too expensive to produce? And maybe they not bring back enough money for the studio? We don't really know at this point. Also, when I did a quick search on YouTube, there doesn't seem to be that many people who actually were talking about that game. The videos about that game did not seem to get that many views. So odds are it probably was not as popular as what the devs or the studio were hoping it would be, or maybe DC Comics themselves. Although from what I understand, they've used the metrics from the Southeast Asia launch as an indication of whether the game would be popular or not, and obviously they decided that it would not be popular. Although at the time I wondered if maybe the Discovery merger had something to do with that. Maybe Discoveries are the one who actually did pull the plug in the game, but I couldn't really find any indication towards that. Like David Zaslav did pull the plug in a whole bunch of projects, like the Batgirl movie, pretty much all the CW TV shows. So I was wondering if maybe he's the one who actually did pull the plug on that game, but I wasn't able to find any information on that front. Sadly, this looks like it could maybe have been a fun squad game where you have your squad of superheroes fighting a whole bunch of evil villains. I haven't played a lot of those games. The closest I've played was Heroes of Might and Magic. I would make a squad of legend characters, and I would use my squad of legend characters to go and conquer the world, or at least conquer various castles, and then park some of my armies in there. I've played Heroes of Might and Magic up to Heroes of Might and Magic 5 or 6, I forget. It's been a while since I played those games. Maybe I should give it a try again soon. I'll have to give it some thought. So sadly for most of us, we'll never get the chance to try out this game. And I always wonder, like it was going to be a mobile game anyway, but I always wonder why they limit themselves to mobile. If you make a mobile game, why not make it so that you can also play it on PC? I'll never understand why they sort of cut off a whole bunch of the market that they could easily get if they wanted to. But sadly somehow there's no desire to be able to allow people to play those mobile games on PC. Although there was an exception recently, Diablo Immortal finally bent the knee and they decided to make the game available on PC as well as being a mobile game. I guess that is a first step in the right direction, but you have to wonder why they don't make those games playable on PC as well. Oh well. So, seeing how that game will never be available, we will never be able to play that game, why did I make a video about it? For the cinematics. The cinematics alone were worth making this video for. Also, it features the voice of Kevin Conroy as the Batman, so there was no way not to share this video with all of you guys. Again, hopefully somebody at DC's wakes up and smells a coffee and realizes that they could make a pretty, at the very least, a pretty awesome TV show using those cinematics as a template. Oh well. And what about you guys? Were you able to try out this game? Were you fortunate enough to be able to play this game way back when? Let us know in the comment section down below. Was it fun? Was it worth playing? Was it expensive? Let us know. Sadly, at the time, I did not even know about this game, so I never got the chance to try it out. Although, again, if it's only a mobile game, odds are I would not have been able to play it anyway, especially since it was released in South Asia only. Oh well. At the time, I probably would have had to use something like a NordVPN to change my IP address or something, and I probably wouldn't have done that. But there you go, guys. So sadly, this is a game that we missed out on, but we can at the very least enjoy the pretty awesome cinematics that were made for that game. And again, who knows? Maybe, hopefully, someday someone at DC will realize that maybe they should make an animated series based on that style. We will have to wait and see.